Hi everyone, my name is Jacqueline Skaife and I would like to discuss my action research proposal with you. My action research is based on if mindfulness activities improve the behavior of special education students while in the school setting. Some of you might be wondering what exactly mindfulness is. Mindfulness is a type of meditation in which you focus on being intensely aware of what you're sensing and what your feelings are in that moment without any interruption or judgment from others. Mindfulness practices are typically breathing methods, guided imaginary or images that you're imagining, and other practices that might help relax your body and your mind, and it reduces the stress that you're feeling throughout the day. Some other mindfulness activities might be laying in a quiet area and doing fidget toys or tools. It also may look like doing a puzzle where you're focused on just doing that task, only working on that puzzle and putting each piece where they belong. How will this fit into the action research and how will it be beneficial for all of those involved? I will answer those questions and more for you. As my action research proposal, it will look like having my students that I have as an EBD teacher come to me during the day. We will join together as a group and we will work through one of our mindfulness activities. Some of those mindfulness activities might be different yoga poses. It may just be meditating for 5 to 10 minutes where everyone is absolutely silent. It may be working on different breathing exercises. For example, a hot cocoa breath, which I will demonstrate for you real quick. This type of breathing exercise is something that many of my students utilize. For hot cocoa breathing, you will imagine that you have a cup of hot cocoa in your hand. When you have hot cocoa, it smells delicious. It's something that you really want to have and that you really enjoy. You will pretend like you're taking a breath in through your nose, like you're smelling the hot cocoa. To do this, you would do this for about 10 seconds because you really want to smell this yummy, yummy hot cocoa. So my example is, and you'll hold that breath in for about a count of 4. And then that hot cocoa is super, super warm. So you're going to blow the hot cocoa to make it cooler. And you're going to do this for about 10 seconds. Many of my students will repeat this several times until they can feel their body kind of calming down. If you just tried this, you may have felt your body calming down too. And if you are able to feel that, that is something else that will benefit our students, because if it benefits us, it benefits them as well. This is something that you can change for any student. For example, some of my students, they don't like hot cocoa, but they love pizza. Who doesn't like to smell pizza? They can have a piece of pizza in their hand where they can smell what their pizza smells like. And then they can blow it because pizza's hot too. So we can modify it to whatever a student likes. I present hot cocoa, but then I say, I want you to think of whatever type of thing you want to do. So any hot food, anything that you can smell and then blow out, like a candle, a birthday candle. It can be anything. You can have a flower petal in your hand and you can smell that flower petal and blow the flower petal off your hand. You can be as creative as you want and let the kids really enjoy what they're doing. So after my students come down to me, they will go back to their classrooms. And each classroom teacher or their special ed teacher that they might go to for different academic help will have a behavior analyzation sheet. The teachers will analyze over the course of the day how the breathing has helped them, have the students use this mindfulness technique throughout their day when they start to feel anxious or upset. And they will record that. They will also be recording what the student was like after they come back from learning the new mindfulness technique with me, to see if they see immediate benefits after taking that break in that time. This will be done using the Likert scale and questions that they will answer, as well as any reflections that they want to jot down in the comment section. I will also be having my students fill these out as well, because who knows best how they're feeling inside but the student themselves. As educators, we often know that ACEs, or adverse childhood experiences, present in negative behaviors oftentimes in our students, and these behaviors are affecting their academic success. Students that would be doing very well academically are falling behind because of the behaviors that they are presenting. Mindfulness is something that can help with that, and there has been several studies that have been conducted, and oftentimes a lot of the studies have used the mindfulness school program, which seems to be a great benefit. Many of the students that have been in any of the research that I have conducted have benefited from mindfulness in ways that it has changed their behaviors dramatically, and they increase their pro-social behaviors, so the behaviors that we are expected to do every day, and they've decreased their unwanted behaviors, which is like being off task when you're supposed to be completing an assignment, getting up and walking around, or blurting out, those kinds of things. So mindfulness relaxes the mind, the body, and allows our students to have better focus and better attentiveness. The stakeholders would be myself, that would be conducting the research, and the students and their other educators are also potential stakeholders. It would benefit each of them. Students would see an increase in their grades, a benefit in their grades going up, and they would also be in less trouble, which makes their day go much better. Teachers would have less disruption in their classroom. Teachers would also benefit from doing the mindfulness with the student. They would feel less stress in their bodies and be less stressed when dealing with a student that has behaviors. Myself, the stakeholder, I would be conducting the research, so setting up the different mindfulness tasks that we would work on. I would also be giving each of the teachers as well as the students the different Likert scales that they would be evaluating on, and making sure that they have an area to put any other thoughts or concerns that they might have. This will also be able to show us what mindfulness techniques each student really enjoys doing and which ones benefit them best, so that we can utilize for them in the future. The timetable for this would be an 8-week program for the students to work through with me, where they learn the different mindfulness techniques and they're able to utilize them and evaluate it each day. I would collect the data from the teachers each week. They would collect the students' data for me each day, so that we can kind of go over those. We would also hope that 8 weeks would turn into longer. The students can continue to utilize the mindfulness as they see that it benefits them. The way that we would initiate this as the students would come in on Mondays for about a 30-minute time frame so that we can kind of just debrief from the weekend and we can learn the new skill. We can talk about its benefits as a group and ways that we might need to modify it for each individual student. We would also practice it several times so that they would be able to, again, utilize this as they see fit during the day. The rest of the week, they would come between 5 and 10 minutes, depending on the mindfulness activity, and we would practice each day as a small group the mindfulness activity. Mondays will be a little bit longer because we would be introducing that new tool for them. During these times, I would either be journaling myself or I would have one of my paras just jot down some notes in a journal for me to kind of talk about how that segment went with the students. Were they participating? Were they actively doing the different tasks each day? Were they tired when they came in? Were they rambunctious when they came in? How did they change throughout the session? Just little things that we would want to know and see how each session is kind of developing and what happened during each session, so that that might change what we see throughout the week. If the student is getting better at it or not, we would also be able to understand if the student really tried to do the activity. Did they have a better day that day? If they were not on task while we were doing the mindfulness activity, what do we need to change about it? At the end of this, I would analyze the data and present the data to all of the stakeholders, to include any administration that would want to see any of our findings as well. And again, the outcomes that we have seen in the past have been decreased hyperactivity and increase on attention and attaining to the topics that are being discussed in their academic environment. And as I stated a little bit ago, I'm hoping that by integrating these mindfulness techniques, not just in that 8 weeks, but beyond that, I am hoping that students and teachers will see less anxiety, less anger building up, less negative behaviors, and more peace, more calm in their day, more patience as an educator and as a student for things that are going on around them, and being present in the moment and worried about what's going on in front of them instead of anything that might be a distractor or anything that might be going on around them, or even giving them a break if they have any ACEs that are going on at home. I hope that you enjoyed learning about mindfulness, and I hope that you will integrate the mindfulness techniques that I will present to you. And thank you for your time. Have a nice day.